Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dante's Harmony podcast. My name is Dante Harmon, and I am excited for our guest today. But before we bring my guest up for today on Dante's Harmony podcast, I'm asking you all that are here with us, like and share this post. There's going to be some great conversation. We are really about to delve into someone that is really creating history, history for the first time. And I think you're going to be very elated and very excited about not only the things that he's doing, but the strides that he's creating and for generations to come. So before we delve into that, I'm going to do my civic duty for a second. November 5th, we have a very important election that is going to be coming up before us. And I want us to be very vigilant, intentional about voting. I pray and hope that you are registered to vote. If you don't know where to go, if you are unsure about your elections, you may be a voter. You may have voted for the last 10, 20 years of your life, but you're unsure about who the candidates are. You don't know who those individuals are in your local districts, in your local counties, in your local state that you're voting for. Not just the presidential election, but your local primaries. Go to vote, vote.gov. Go to vote.gov, and there you'll find information where you are, your specific districts, those folks, and listen. Find out who they are. Go to their social media pages. Find out what they are about, what they believe in, what it is that they're going to do to represent where you are in your district, in your area, and if that is the right candidate or candidates that you want to vote for. It's not enough to just show up and make a selection. Be intentional about who we select. All right. So I'm going to make another announcement later on, but I am excited to really talk about our guest on today. Listen, for those of you all that have been following in the sacred steel world, if you know anything about sacred steel, or if you know anything concerning history of sacred steel, my guest today, Mr. Delray Grace Sr., along with his wife, Kelly Grace, they pioneered an extraordinary journey to preserve and promote sacred steel music, which is a soulful genre within the Christian roots tradition. And as founder of Sacred Steel Records Incorporated, which was established in 2009 and incorporated in 2012, the Graces have dedicated themselves to safeguarding the rich legacy of African-American steel guitar players. Based in Toledo, Ohio, often referred to as the Mecca of sacred steel music and history, Sacred String Records, say that 3 times, Sacred String Records has grown into a hub for preserving this rare musical tradition. My guest today, Delray Grace, is not only a musician, but he is a historian, a researcher, an author, all roles that have enabled him to chronicle the untold story of sacred steel music. So through the Sacred Steel Hall of Fame with 98 inductees and probably more, and an annual Sacred Steel showcase concert, and the establishment of Sacred Steel Music and History Museum, Delray Grace has ensured the future for future generations to come to experience the spiritual and cultural depth of this genre called sacred steel. Sacred steel passed down orally for over 80 years and is still thriving today, thanks to the unwavering commitment to preserving and promoting this incredible musical tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, he needs no introduction, but I'm proud to call him my dear brother, and I want to present to you all Mr. Delray Grace. How you doing, man?
Man, Dante, it's good to be alive, brother. How you doing?
Man, I am well and well. First of all, man, thank you so much for agreeing to be on here with me. You are doing some amazing things.
To God be the glory, man. You know, hey, Toledo is the mecca of sacred steel music and history.
Yes, it is.
And as a historian, I must say this, that we are grateful to Mother Tate, who established this church in 1903, the church, the house of God, church of the living God.
Come on.
The pillar and ground of the truth.
Come on,
which he purchased with his own blood, without controversy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in a little place called Greenville, Alabama, man. Yes. We thank God for her work. Because of this great church, we have this great music,
Wow.
And so, when you were reading off all those titles and accolades, I'm looking around like, did we do all that?
Yes.
See, because in the world of the museum world, they call me a custodian. And when I first heard the word, I was like, a janitor? I'm a janitor?
Not quite. A little deeper than that.
Yeah, man. But when it comes to this museum stuff, I'm finding my way. It's new territory for me. A lot of great new relationships. People that had never heard of such a thing. Yeah. This history and our body of work, that we've been blessed to put together, man. These people, they're like, whoa, what can we do? How can we assist in this kind of thing? And how can we learn more?
Right.
And even actually one of the reasons I wanted to be instrumental in documenting and preserving the history was because when I would see like Calvin and Alvin and Robert Randolph, them kind of guys out there blazing, man, and people would ask, after these concerts, where can we go to learn more?
Wow.
So I wanted to be one of the spots where they could go to learn more. So I kind of jumped into the history part of it, because it was there. It was available to us, and this vast body of work that we have developed and established, and is growing and growing and growing. There could be, we couldn't have it without the Sacred Steel Nation, because this is your history.
That's right.
Not just mine. Every time I walk into the museum, I'm looking at you, Dante. I'm looking at Lonnie Bennett. I'm looking at Calvin Cook. I'm looking at all you guys, man. If you guys' participation with the work that we have been engaged in for about like 10 years now, there would be no Sacred Steel Music and History Museum without you guys' participation, your blood, sweat, and tears. Because this is all of our work.
It is, and I think about everything that you just said. To be a musician is one thing, but to get to a place as you are, and being this historian that you are, someone needed to do that, and you took the mantle. You took the responsibility for not only taking the mantle and running with it, but man, the preservation and the history in the museum. And we're going to talk more about that. Okay. But I want to circle back to something that you said. You talked about Toledo, Ohio being the mecca of sacred steel music and history. What does that really mean to the community? You've been out there, I've seen you do things for the community there in Toledo, Ohio, and how people in the community circle around you. What has that meant to you, and what is that mecca sacred steel music history? And I know there's so much that you could probably say about that, but what does that all entail?
Well, just kind of in a nutshell, a mecca is a place of pilgrimage, and so that's kind of that's what I'm actually saying. It sounds like something great, gigantic, but I'm just saying this is a place to meet, that's all I'm really saying. Yeah. And I like to, being a historian, sometimes history comes up in me. So since we're talking about sacred steel conventions, I want to give a shout out to the late Marcus Hardy, who was the father of he's in our Hall of Fame as the father of sacred steel conventions. In other words, he was the first. He was the first to establish and organized sacred steel concert, and he's down in the record, as such, but that's pretty much all we're saying, man. This is a place where you can come at least once a year, to hear sacred steel music, meet sacred steel musicians, learn about the history, you can't learn about the history of the music without talking about the history of the church and also talking about the history of our founder, Mother Tate.
Right.
And so I like to always, being a historian, I like to go back to the origin of things,
Right.
And so, you can't have C without B and A, So I like to keep that in the forefront. And so we even, we have a wall panel of Mother Tate's work. We couldn't get it all on there, but it's just like a timeline, kind of deal. And so we just kind of use Toledo because people have asked me, why is Toledo the Mecca of sacred steel? Well, I live in Toledo. Where am I from? And when we coined the phrase, it wasn't in a proud, kind of way. It wasn't that at all. It was that, something else I'm learning out here when you're dealing in the arts and dealing with the public. If it's something that you are pioneering, you better claim ownership of it.
That's right.
You better claim ownership of it, because if you don't, and somebody see a weak link, it'll end up in their hands.
That's right.
And I'm learning to protect myself as I go and protect this music and and what it represents and stand for, and all of the histories that people have shared with me. I actually feel a burden, to a degree, to be able to share these guys' stories. As a historian, you want to keep the record straight, and so so that their works will live on from generation to generation.
This is so amazing, and it leads me to even asking this question, Dale. What has it been like? Because only you can really speak of this, and I'm sure there's several others, but to the point of now, you made history as the first African American to own and operate our first sacred steel music and history museum. That is, without saying, is Black history.
Yes, sir.
So what has it been like? Because and understand my question. They've heard sacred steel for now probably over 80 years. They've heard it. It's been an oral thing where they've heard the sound, they've heard the music. But what has it been like preserving the tradition now? With the instruments, with all of the history and all the things that you've done that has been largely passed down for all these 80 years up until now, and going into the museum. What has it been like? What was that experience like?
Oh man, Dante, I have to go back to my father. My father, Curtis Grace, we called him Daddy Grace. He passed away a few years ago in Mobile, Alabama. Mm-hmm. But my father was the family historian.
Wow.
And he was also the historian for the church that he belonged to when he migrated up here in 1950. It was actually a split off of the Jewel Church.
Okay.
It was called the Church of the Living. It's called the Soul City House of God. Okay. And so he was a historian. And so, I was real close with my dad. I ran with him all the time. And the history thing started to dive on me, And so I found myself being interested in history. And not only that, just whatever history I was a part of, I started asking myself, who started what I'm a part of? I got to a point where the church of the Jewel Church, I started asking myself questions. Who started this church? And I need to know more about the families that started it. And that got me on that road, and the same thing with the steel guitar music. Actually, Bob Stone, he came into the picture like in the mid 1990s, but actually in 1980 up here. Now, mind you, now in 1980, you didn't have Facebook and you didn't have YouTube, all that stuff. All them things kind of happened. Those things are Johnny come latelys in our generation, in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. we didn't have all that, but I felt a call in the year 1980 to do something to preserve this music and the history behind it, because I didn't even know much about the House of God other than Calvin Cook. That's because he was up in Detroit, 60 miles from here. Right. But so we I got on that track and started trying to preserve the history. I started calling guys together, up here that I knew, about 5 or 6 of us that was actively playing, and we put a CD out and didn't know much about anything that we were doing, man, and the history stuff, I couldn't shake it. A guy asked me one day, he said, as far as the museum is concerned, what made you choose to do a museum?
Right.
And I said, you know what? After a lot of thought and consideration, I don't think I chose it. I think it chose me.
Wow.
Because this is one of the few things that have captivated me. To where I can't turn it off. Right. It's always on my mind. So I'm always getting a download. A lot of the things that's in the museum. I pinch myself when I walk in there. Man, where did this come from?
Wow.
God, he downloaded into my mind and sent me on a beaten path. And people were there that had what I needed.
Wow.
We've been doing Sacred Steel concerts for 16 years now.
Wow.
And we also have the longest longest running Sacred Steel concert. A lot of guys, this is not a blow to anybody, but a lot of guys have did a few and they stopped. We have been consistent since we started, and that was by design, because I wanted to show consistency in this. I didn't want it to fall by the wayside.
Right.
And let me shout out my band real quick, man, because I remember when I first got started doing this, I set them down and said, I'm going to need you guys to commit, because some of the guys I'm going to be inviting in here, they don't have bands.
Okay.
So for 16 years, Jay Caver, my brother-in-law,
come on,
he's been right there. My son Dale Grace Jr., my nephew Christopher, and different other people. We got a committee of people, and I say this a lot too, Dante. If you're great, you're not great by yourself. You're great because you have great help, and I have some great help, in this side of the country that have bought into this vision, and they see the progress, they see the anointing, how God have ordained this thing to be.
That's right.
And they are a part of it, and I'm really grateful for that, man.
Well, listen, I'm grateful for them too. I played with them, phenomenal musicians, and they have really not only been a constant with your sound and the things that you guys have been doing, but have just been a staple for meeting. And you've been a staple for a lot of the guys who may not have known each other. Right. From the Keith side and the Jewel side, to come together and get to know each other. I always said, and I think I probably shared this with you, where the church wasn't together, the music always was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We didn't have a problem coming together. And when we got together, man, what a time.
That's right. Hey, I'll drink to that one, brother.
Oh, come on.
But let me say this, Dante.
Go ahead.
And I've gotten a lot of help and participation from people outside of the fold. Like the guy named Brett Bonner. He's the editor for the Living Blues magazine. Yes. And early on, he did a lot of different great pieces on Sacred Steel. And so when I told him what we were doing, he sent me all the material that he had so we could use it in any way that we needed to. Right. And Bob Stone, he's donated some things, and we have his book and his 2 books inside the museum. John Leopold with R. Hooley, he just last year or maybe a year before, he donated a bunch of pictures. He was still with R. Hooley at the time. A bunch of pictures that R. Hooley owned, of our steel players. And at one time I was just out there trying to get all of the written material, all the liner notes, all the magazines, books, anything Sacred Steel. I have tons of this stuff, off of the internet that's not in the museum right now, because this museum is just the beginning. We plan on building something or buying something bigger, and Lord willing. But pretty much anything that's out there, Sacred Steel, I have it in my possession, and some of the things were just public domain, and some of the things I had to call and get permission for, and nobody ever turned me down. So I'm grateful for that.
That's right. Well, man, one of the things I put the website in the at the bottom of the screen so that the viewers and everyone here, you all can definitely support. Go to www.sacredstrings.com. Again, I am here today with Delray Grace Senior, and he is dropping gems. He's talking all things. He's a historian of the first ever Sacred Steel Music and History Museum there in Toledo, Ohio. And man, so much I want to ask him. I know we have a short time here, but I want to try to get to as much as I can.
All right.
But the one of the things that I really love about Dale is he's not only a musician, but he's a business consummate. You know, he's into the preservation of the music and history, but he's a businessman. So, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is that you started, Dale, back in 2009, Sacred String Records. Right. Talk about your evolution and the mission in regards to that, and how has it evolved since?
Oh my goodness. You know what? To God be the glory. I always want to start out with that, bro, because everything that you read at the beginning of the program was part. I put a timeline together because I'm trying to just keep track of, like you said, the evolution. Mm-hmm. You know, and when I put the timeline together from 2009. Well, 2009 we started the record label Sacred String Records Incorporated, and that was, you know, it's not a traditional record label, but you know, where you sign artists and then you send them out on the road. It's just a compilation album right. label to where every time we have a concert, everybody on that concert is on that record, is on right. that, you know, on that label. And so that's what that was all about. 2009, and we had the record label. We started the our annual concert, Sacred String showcase concerts. Mm-hmm. And early on, we were doing two nights. We're doing Friday and Saturday. Okay. and the reason behind that was because I wanted to get as much footage as I could while I had these guys here. You right. know, so I may have had between 10 and 20 acts, you know, over a weekend. You know, and I also knew that at some point I needed this footage to promote, you know, as far as being on, because later on we in 2012, not long after that, we developed a TV program. We got on mm-hmm. cable TV here. We have two TV programs promoting the time-honored steel guitar from an African American perspective. You know, is what right. we're doing, and so we got that together. And then 2012 and 2014, we went up with another TV program. The people at the TV station contacted me and said, we have some more room, you know, if you want to do something else, you know. So I put the Gospel of Sacred Steel together, you know. That's right. how that came about. And so 2015, you know, the mayor of the city of Toledo, she came to the concert and she gave us a proclamation stating that the month of August is Sacred Steel Music and History Month. And so even though we were celebrating wow. it anyway before that, she came and, you know, put her stamp of approval on it, you know, so the city would recognize that.
That's amazing. That kudos.
Yes,
that really takes some effort
yeah.
and some attention and to be consistent doing something long enough
exactly
for someone to recognize it to the point where they recognize it and they give us a month, not a day.
Yeah,
but a month.
A month.
Wow.
But, and let me say this, Dante. You know, we always want to continue to encourage the Sacred Steel community.
That's right.
You know, and keep playing and keep, you know, doing, you know, because we need you guys. You know, I think Sacred Steel will go on forever. I mean, because these steel players are being born as we speak.
That's right.
You know, the Keep Dominion Church seems to have a larger quantity, but you know, the Jewel Dominion they've slowed down mm-hmm. Since I was in there. You know, when I was coming up, man, there was no shortage of young people aspiring to play music in the church.
Right.
You know, but over the years, man, I can count on one hand how many dominant steel players they have in that organization. And it's kind of, you know, it's sad to see that. And when I talk to those guys, I'm always I'm always trying to boost their confidence, you know, because this is for them too.
Yeah.
This is for them too, you know, and I'm a Jewel Dominion baby. I was born and raised there. Was there for the first 35 years of my life.
Yeah.
Nothing but love for them.
Right.
You know, and but when it comes to the music, I don't know how we're gonna fix this, but we need to get young people back interested in playing music unto the Lord.
Let me tell you, man, I was at the Young People's Assembly in
I saw you
here in Atlanta.
I saw you.
Dale, I don't know, man. These guys, and shout out to Zion Mosey, who's on here. Love you, man. These guys, man, they showed out.
Yeah.
I met so many of the young musicians there, and all around, man. I you know, it's so interesting. Everywhere I go, I was recently this summer, went down to my family reunion in Deerfield, met a lot of younger musicians, and what I'm finding is that it's not going anywhere.
No.
You know, it seems like it may not be as much as maybe my generation or the generation before.
Right.
They're here.
Right.
They are here, man. I just I was so excited, man. To hear these guys play. Woo!
Yeah.
It made me want to go practice, man.
Yeah, they got a few up and coming guys, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I really respect what they do. I love it, actually. You know.
Yeah,
can't get enough of it. But you know, let me say this, Dante.
Yes, sir.
When I'm thinking about it, because all kind of things is great. I know we're on the time schedule.
No, you're good. You're good.
But Troman Eason.
Yes.
You know, if somebody out there can help me find a photo of Troman Eason, you know, I was told that there's got to be some in Philadelphia, you know, because a lot of his family is there. But anyway, we didn't have a photo of Troman Eason, so we used a silhouette. We just used a blacked out silhouette because I wanted his story to be told in the museum. You know,
so
Troman Eason, yeah.
So we're putting it all called out. We're putting it right here on Dante's Harmony podcast. If anyone has or knows, we just doing some history on Truman Eason.
Right.
We are interested in getting a picture, an old photo, whatever you have.
That's right.
You all contact Delray Grace. I'm gonna put his website back up here if you want to contact him directly, and they definitely will reach back out to you. And you can get him on Facebook. Follow him on Facebook at Delray Grace, and they'll dedefinitely get it and make sure that you get credit for the picture.
All right, because you know Truman is he's a very important piece of all this. He's the progenitor of all this, you know, and so he's the one that got it started. Even though he was taught by a Hawaiian guy, and just about 3 weeks ago, Kelly and I were in Hawaii, and we got a chance to sit down with I talked to 3 different Hawaiian steel players.
Wow.
But actually one of them took us out to breakfast.
Okay.
And he paid. Yeah. It's expensive out there, bro. Yeah. To give a shout out to my boy Kai Reese is his name. Kai Reese. Yeah, and he's a Hawaiian guitar builder. And so he's gonna build me a Hawaiian guitar, you know. And so anyway, we had a great talk. He loaded me down with a lot of the history of the Hawaiians, because this is where we got that instrument from. You know, because when we were kids, that's what we called it, the Hawaiian.
The Hawaiian guitar.
Hawaiian guitar, right. So
it's funny you say that, because I've heard Hawaiian, Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
You hear it all.
That's right. Yeah, man. So when we were out there just to take a vacation, because you know I've been promising Kelly to get her out there. So we got out there and ended up working, man. The steel guitar forum, I let some of the guys that I knew that lived in Hawaii, let them know I was coming out there. And so, man, they showed me a good time, you know. And so they're even talking about a possible international Hawaiian guitar convention, you know, with Sacred Steel being involved with it. So, man, wouldn't that be something?
Listen, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna go ahead and speak it. It's gonna happen.
All right, preacher.
Say it again.
All right, young preacher.
Come on, young preacher. Listen, everyone that is right here with us on Facebook and YouTube, you all like and share this post. Corey Smith, man, we love you guys, man. Thank you. Man,
Corey.
he's shouting you out, Dale. Belinda
Right,
Brown, Orby, thank you so much for the love and support.
Belinda, all right.
Man, so many folks are here. Rodney, E-Man.
E-Man. Well, hey, Dante, let me say this about Rodney.
Come on.
I don't have the date, but sometime in October, I don't know if it's the 24th or 26th, something in there. You can go to his Facebook page. But he's putting on another Sacred Steel concert there, showcase concert.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I just put his information right there in the chat. Y'all look him up, Rodney E-Man Davis Jr.
That's
Y'all
right.
follow him. Phenomenal young musician, and man, this music is not going anywhere, Dale.
No, it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Lisa Marks, thank you for the love and support.
Hey, sis, it's my little sister.
Yeah, man. She said hello, bro, and Dante. Thank y'all for just being here with us on today, and we have so much to be thankful for with this music tradition, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. And not only, Dale is preserving this music in such a way where it's tangible. I'm doing it in a very podcasting way, if you will. But it's not going anywhere, and there's so much here for all of us to do. But I'm just grateful that we're all here together. I remember, Dale, when we first met. I think it was in Memphis.
Right.
Remember that, Memphis, Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
I think it was 2010.
Right.
And we had an amazing time together, and we came together in Memphis. And I think even in that moment of seeing all the musicians coming together, I think it was the whole hotel was really music.
Yes, it was.
And for all of us to be together, to play together, to spend time with each other, getting to know each other, breaking bread with each other, it was such a phenomenal experience, learning things that we didn't know about each other.
Right.
And then in a space where we're able to play and share and enjoy each other all at the same time.
Yes, sir.
This experience for us has really been, it's been ongoing. So when we talk about, how the music is really shaping itself, what have there been any challenges that you've been faced with bringing this music, this Sacred Steel music, to now this broader audience? Because now you went from starting a record label, doing your music showcases, you had the label, you're doing the music. Now you got this museum, you're on TV, you're doing morning talk shows, talking about your museum. I'm sure with all of the things that you've had, there have been some challenges. There are a lot of people that's out here, and they're venturing to start out a new business of some sort.
Right.
Venturing to try to do something new. Talk about what it is to go forth with a vision that was dropped in you and in your heart, and sometimes being faced with challenges that you think gonna pull a plug on everything.
Yeah, but let me say this. Great question. Because challenges is all just a part of life. I actually look forward to challenges. I heard a preacher say one time. He said, "Every level there's another devil."
Come on.
So just from that vantage point, I've been challenged, in a lot of different respects. But I'm telling you, man, when you keep your eye on the goal, and when you are confident that this thing is not of you,
right?
This thing is of God. And he said, if I be with you, I'm more than the whole world against you. So I've had several. I think one of the main challenges that constantly occur is the fact that people would like for me to take our message out of the music. That's one of the things that we're constantly being faced with. Man, we love that Sacred Steel music, but that Jesus stuff, man, can y'all tone that down?
Wow.
Well, that's the foundation of what we rested on, bro. I can't take that out. Take that out, I don't have nothing,
Come on.
So it's things, and that's just one of the spiritual attacks, But of course you got haters. You're gonna have haters. But like I said, I look forward to that because I like a tree standing by the rivers of water, man. I
Right.
won't be moved.
That's right.
I just feel like this is one thing that I have partook in that I'm confident it's of God. And I might not get it right all the time, but I'm still trying to do my very best. And so if anybody else out there, and I encourage people to do more. I mean,
Right.
If you can't handle a few challenges, you might not be worthy of the call.
Come on.
Yeah, those things are going to happen, but there's people out here that can help you make it through.
That's right.
Calvin Cook helped me make it through.
Come on. Shout out to Calvin. And listen, no point. Listen, that song, that was such a great segue.
Oh my goodness.
Because that song, I know it was a lot to him. He created the song. He stapled that song. But man, when you're dealing with that stuff real time, yeah, he's there to help us get through it.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing.
Exactly.
One of the things I found out too, and that's why I love this thing called Sacred Steel, the sacred part of it. You can't talk about sacredness without talking about God.
No.
The reality is that anywhere you find anywhere in the Bible where there was a promotion or when there was a great thing that happened, immediately there was a temptation or there was a challenge, right? So it just teaches me when something happens, okay, get ready because here it comes.
Here it comes, right?
Here it comes because I think it's a law. And people think, oh no, it's a thing that's just gonna. I think it is a normal.
That's right.
It's a normal thing that's just gonna happen, and I think we have to just embrace ourselves to know that when it does happen, you're going in the right direction.
Right.
Because if you're really not being challenged, something could be wrong with what you're not doing.
Yeah, you know what? And challenges, man, that's part of the process.
That's right.
And that's part of any process. But let me say this, Dante. We're just coming off of our 16th Sacred Strings Showcase concert, and we just used jewel musicians this time.
Right.
And the reason being, because people have asked me this, the reason being is because up in Rochester, they were doing something with Bishop Campbell on the same day. Right. And so I didn't know that we had the same day because I actually really wanted to go there to pay my support to the Campbell family, But since in a lot of the Chief Dominion steel players that normally come to the showcase here, they contact me and say, "Hey, Grace, we got this thing in Rochester. Sorry, we can't, that kind of thing." So I said, you know what, this would be a good opportunity just to do a jewel, to not interrupt the Keith side of all that, and that's the reason why we did that. And I just want to shout out Robert Cook, Kevin Martin from Mount Clemens, a young man. He was down in Atlanta with you, blazing, and Reggie Footy Covington. He was up this way. He was my special guest. We had Demetrius Beasley, Andre Mays, and of course my sister Fran, and of course the Amazing Grace Praise Band, and that's how we kind of made it through this year with our concert. I just want to shout out the audience, man, because all these years we had a banquet too, and we always sell our banquets out, and I thank God for that. Just the support, man, and the encouragement. Because the support really encourages you. The donors, we have a donor base that's consistent, and I think that's why I was glad we was able to do this museum so they can see where their money was going. That was very important to me. And if I got a minute, let me say this real quick, Dante.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, because we had a building before the museum. Bishop Harold Stegall, he sold me a building before he passed. And it was in September, but I think in that same December 2021, we had a bad snowstorm. Okay. And I had contractors working inside of the building and putting in windows and all kind of stuff. And I went down with COVID in the beginning of December, and I didn't get home until Christmas Eve. And so when I got out, I found out that that heavy snowstorm had collapsed the ceiling.
Wow.
So and so we had to demo the building because it was irreparable. And I was like, Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell these people that
Wow.
have donated this money? I think we had sunk like $13,000 into the building at the time. I think we were working with almost like $30,000.
Wow.
And so, man, I was almost heartbroken. I was like, Lord, I felt that's one time in my life I felt like giving up.
Wow.
One time I felt like giving up. I'm like, I'm just coming home from COVID. I mean, they thought I was going to die when I was in there.
Wow.
I could hear the doctor saying, he's shutting down. He ain't going to make it. But God, bro. But God. But I remember being in the hospital telling God, Lord, you gave me this vision. And, don't make us both out of a liar. I'm telling folks about this vision, anyway, he touched my body. He gave me a miracle, man. And I'm here to talk about it. And I praise God every day, for life. That's why I say it's good to be alive, bro. Because it didn't have to be this way. So anyway, another year had passed because the insurance company didn't want to pay. So they end up paying about a year later. And so we end up getting space inside the church that we're in now. Like I say, I said that to say that this is just the beginning. I've kind of outgrown the space already. It's just been there since April, but people are donating things and continue to, you guys, if you got guitars, if you got paraphernalia, like, pictures and things like that, and you want to donate them, they'll be in good cause here. I'm the custodian now. Don't forget, I'm a custodian.
Come on, say it again.
So yeah, man. So it's a lot going on up here in Toledo, and I got to shout out my lovely wife Kelly, because she's a great inspiration. She's the backbone to a lot of things. This computer stuff. If it wouldn't been for Kelly, this podcast wouldn't be going on, bro.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, she's phenomenal, and I remember when I first met her. She's just as phenomenal then as she is now. Thank you so much, Kelly, for everything that I know you're supporting Dale and doing.
Oh yeah,
man, it's what I really love, Dale, with all of the things that you've done and are doing. The research that you have put in, all of the curating of the catalogs and the original audio, video footage. The things that you've shared, you've talked to a lot of these pioneers,
right.
Especially those on the jewel side. Have there been any stories or any kind of research, or maybe some just some type of interview that you may have done with one of those pioneers that stuck out to you, that you found was rich, and you just the story just lies dear with your heart?
Well, you know what? Good question. Good question, Dante. In the back of the museum, we have an area. It's called the Sacred Steel Archive and Research Center.
Okay.
And back in that area, there's 5 touchscreen computer monitors, and on each wall, ahead of you is a bunch of names. They're in alphabetical order. This computer is from A to H, maybe. The next one is from I to whatever. And so different interviews, I can punch in your name, Dante, go to the D's and hit Dante, and everything that I have on you, since I've known you, if it was on YouTube, if it was nice quality stuff, I put it over. And so people are coming to do research, on Sacred Steel musicians there. And that's the whole point. I mean, guys that identify themselves as ethnomusicologists. I'm like, what is that? We just study music. So and we have things like that, man. And so Ronnie Hall is probably one that really sticks out. Ted Beer came to the grand opening along with Calvin Cook. They've been with me from the beginning. Wow. From 2009, they've been right there. Ronnie Hall, keep him in your prayers. A lot of health challenges, but some of the things, the stories that these guys tell, and we all got stories,
right.
And this is what I'm after when I document. I like to sit a guy down and just say, hey, where do you fit in all this? And Ronnie Hall have shared some things with me, going back to his early childhood in the Jewel Dominion. I didn't know that at one time. Ronnie Hard, Wayne White, Calvin Cook, and Ted Beard, they were all on the Jewel side at one time.
Oh yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Ted Beard's grandmother was married to Chief's father, Robert Tate. And she was an Ashbury, I think. And so a lot of people don't know that. So you got, I'm a historian. I find that kind of stuff out. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm verifying, because when I did my interview with Ted Beard, he did talk about that.
Yeah. Because he even told me, he said, "You don't believe me? I can take you out to the grave site." I said, "Man,
wow.
not today. It was in the wintertime, not today." Right. But wow. Because and that's part of history. I like getting obituaries and things. A lot of good information. Inside of obituaries. When you're trying to write a bio out. And things like that. But yeah, Dante, I've met a lot of great people. I've had a lot of phone interviews over the phone. Annabelle Bowen, she's out of South Carolina. She's one of the oldest female sacred steel players a part of this thing right now. She's one of them, because there's one in Indianapolis I just dug out. And they call her Mother, her last name escapes me. But I dug her. I went to a music store in Indianapolis, and they told me about her. She was assistant pastor at a church called Upper Room Tabernacle, I think it was. So I went over there, and I got a chance to take pictures with her and her husband. Her husband have deceased since then, but I kind of find out she's related to the Jewel side. She said, down to Tupelo and all them places. Yeah. So I meet a lot of people. I hear a lot of great stories. I try to document these things so I can set the record. Put all this on record. And there have been people who did not want to be a part of the movement, and that's okay too. Because Dante, from the onset, what you see me doing now is what I was trying to explain to people, what I wanted to do. I had noble intentions, wasn't trying to steal nothing, nothing like that. I just wanted to document this stuff because, my father passed that on to me.
Sure.
And because of the love I have for this church and for the music that it presents, and God, because God could have put this music any place in the earth.
That's right.
Look at every place he had to choose from, but he chose Mother Tate's church. Yeah. He chose me. He chose you. Yeah. He chose all of us guys that are, and so it's something to be said about that.
It is. It really is, and it's not going anywhere.
No.
It's here to stay. It's here to stay. For those of you all that are just joining us, I'm here with the Dale Ray Grace, historian, first African American music and history museum honoring sacred steel music. If you're ever in the Toledo, Ohio area, you want to just take a few moments. I'm gonna share my screen in a second, and you want to make sure that you stop by and see and visit what he has there, because let me tell you, there's a lot of rich history that he has there. There's a lot of great things that you'll see there that you definitely want to be a part of and share in. So here you see it, Sacred Steel Music and History Museum. Their hours of operation, Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're located at 2108 Collinwood Boulevard in Toledo, Ohio. And again, you want to get in contact with Dale or Kelly Grace. They're the founders. And listen, you won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed when you visit that place. So I'm almost really at the end of what I want to talk about, but I do have a couple more questions for you, Dale. One, there is something that I'm proud to say that I'm in and that you created, and it's such a staple for part of the things that you do, being a part of honoree and being honored as a sacred steel legend and being part of the legacy that you created with the honorees for sacred steel music. How did you come up with this concept and idea, and how's it been going?
What's that? The Hall of Fame?
The Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Dante, it was something else the Lord downloaded into me as we were moving forward.
Sure.
And I try to stay before the Lord before we make moves.
Mhm.
And it was just something. The Hall of Fame was just something to recognize, accomplishments.
Sure.
It's not the Hall of Fame in the same respect as like the NFL and whatever else, because a lot of times you got to be out of the league for 10 years and all this kind of stuff before, but it wasn't that at all. It was just, years of service, and how instrumental were you in affecting other people? Did you teach anybody? I normally send a bio information sheet out with these kind of questions on there when I'm making our bios for Hall of Fame members. And it's just, I want to make sure that they did pay it forward at
Right.
least, And so, we kind of did that, man. And we have like 98 members. Footy was just he was the 98th
Wow.
inductee just this past year. And so a shout out to Footy Covington, Philadelphia. And we actually have room for on this Hall of Fame wall that we have got for 100 plaques.
Wow.
Not saying that's all we're gonna do, but
right.
We got 2 more spots left right now. But so and I tell you this, Dante, and people, I encourage people to send me names and send, don't just send a name of just a person without no work behind it. Give me something to work with. And since you're talking about this, let me tell you a story about my dad.
Okay.
He asked me one day, he said, what I have to do to get into the hall? I said, well, it would help if you played the instrument, Dad.
You didn't tell him that. You didn't.
Yeah, well, I told him in a nice, polite way. It's still my dad, So I knew what he was getting at.
Right.
He didn't come out and say it, because he was a big supporter,
right.
Financial supporter. And so I said, man, I said, Dad, I just can't put you in the Hall of Fame. This is your thing, right? Yeah, it's my thing. But why come you? I said, hey, man, look. The best I can do is what do you call it? Honorary. I said, yes, I might be able to do an honorary and get away with that, but I just can't shove you.
So make him an honorary Hall of Fame member.
So I did that before he passed away, man.
Wow.
So, because he was just so so proud of his kids,
Mm-hmm.
and the work, and he was always supporting the work that we did, man. And let me shout out the women too, man, because in 2019, the Lord put that on my heart, recognize the women, and I dug out as many as I could. So 2019, our concert was entitled "The Queens of Sacred Steel."
Yes.
And so I think we had about 8 of them at that time, and so that could make it down here, and I think like 12 of them total that I know about.
Okay.
I always got my ear to the pavement trying to see what's going on out there and who's who. And a lot of people keep me informed, and I appreciate that, because I want this to be inclusive to everybody. We have one wall in the museum called Sacred Steel Nation.
Okay.
And all of the Sacred Steel players, dead and alive, that were known to me at that time, that wanted to be a part of it, they're on the wall.
That's right.
So you don't have to do nothing spectacular, just be a part of the family.
That's right. Mitch Fonville said, "Give it up for the Queens." That's
right.
Hey,
my boy Mitch. All right, the liaison.
Yes, sir.
Man. I met Mitch a couple years ago, man, through Alvin Lee's ministry. The Sacred Steel Summit.
That's right.
I met. You know what, man? Let me see. You talked about this earlier. The hotel that we stayed in 2023 and 2024 in Florida with Al, man, you just don't know how it made me feel to come down into the lobby, Dante, and nothing but Sacred Steel players and Sacred Steel musicians. It was like the who's who of Sacred Steel.
Everywhere.
I mean, and I told Kelly, I said, I'm going to pray tonight that somebody don't drop a bomb on this building, because we had to start all over again. I mean, they were all there. You look over here, you got Aubrey Jim, you got Calvin Cook, you got Ted Beard, you got all of them.
That's right.
It was a great thing. That's why I encourage you guys out there, man. When to participate, because Alvin's open to your participation. I'm open to your participation. You know, the last 4 years we've been doing banquets along with our concerts, and so it was by invitation. You know, the steel players, but now we're getting away from the banquets going into next year, so we can, because I want to start doing like you guys do, Dante. I want to start. I would like to have a weekend, at least 2 days, where we're doing workshops, we're doing seminars. You know, because there's an intellectual part to this music. You know,
That's right.
and that's why I love Frank Owens and those guys and yourself. You guys got tutorials and stuff out there that you're teaching. You're teaching the fundamentals and the techniques and things like that. There's an intellectual part of this music. You know, it's just not whamming and jamming out. You know, and I really appreciate that, man. So I want to start incorporating that here in Toledo as well.
Well, we it's so much out here for everyone, and I think there's so much to be said about the music itself and what it's doing. And there's so much that people can really gather from, not only the things that we do, but the fellowship that we have. And you said it, Dale, when you were there, to see everybody together, to see everyone excited, to see everybody like just,
it was powerful.
You know, just all you saw was music, all you saw was brotherhood, or sisterhood. Exactly. Everybody just together, and it was just like a big festival.
Yes, it was.
Of musicians that just love what we do, but there to support each other. You know, no beef, no competition. Let's just jam out, and that's what it is. So
yes, it is.
Man, and it's people like you, Dale. It's the things that you're doing with the museum. It's the things that you're doing with the record company. It's the things that you're doing with the Hall of Fame honoree, and being able to honor those musicians in that way. That's really keeping this, but it's what it is, preserved, right? So we can go on, but I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this one last question. There are a lot of musicians here, young and old, a lot of young guys, a lot of female musicians, a lot of males, a lot of guys, a lot of girls, a lot of people that are even wanting to start out in business. They have ideas for businesses and just, you know, certain things that they really want to do but haven't really done it. Certain things that they really have in their heart to really execute, but they're afraid of executing it or doing it. What advice do you have for, I guess, twofold, that young entrepreneur, that young musician that just wants to push the envelope, get out there, do something, but afraid to?
Well, you know, another good question, brother. Good question. You know, as far as an entrepreneur, maybe this is twofold here, but you know, I encourage young people to find their purpose early. You know, because you know, I actually found my purpose in this music. Yeah. Actually did, you know, and I'm 63 years old now. I wish actually when I was 20 years old in 1980, is when I sought to do some preservation. I had no background and no history to fall back on. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just know all I knew was I felt like I needed to be telling this story and preserving it. And then I started out and I got discouraged. You know, the church kind of discouraged it, you know, that kind of thing back in those days. And so I didn't pick it back up again until 15 years later, just happened to see Bob Stone doing what he was doing. Now, I told Bob Stone this story when I saw him last year, the last Sacred Steel Summit. And when I saw what he was doing, I'm like, Lord, you know what? That's what you told me to do. And I let people talk me out of it. And so I had to repent to God. I said, Lord, if you give me another shot at this, I ain't gonna drop the ball this time. You know, I'm older, I'm more mature, and I think I can handle it. And so this is why I go so hard now, because I found my purpose. You know, it's not the only purpose in my life, but this is one purpose that drives me to wake up in the morning, you know, because it's on my mind all the time. And like I said earlier, so I try to turn it off, but it won't turn off. It
Right.
just won't turn off, you know. And so I want to. My goal is to work while it's day, you know, and continue to try to do the best at this thing called sacred steel as I possibly can, because once you find your niche in something, you know, everything will start flowing for you. You know, a lot of guys out here, they never find their place. Some people go to their grave never finding their purpose. Heard Miles Monroe say one day, he said the wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery. That's where people go. That's where people go and, with unfinished business.
That's
You
right.
know, he said basically, he said God meant for us to die empty.
Empty. Come on.
You know, and not to die still full of stuff because you couldn't find your way, you couldn't make it work out. You know, because God gave us all a purpose to be here.
That's right.
And so I said to you and Al before, when Al was on with you, what we're doing right now, we're emptying out. We're emptying this thing. God don't want to take it to the grave. He wants to leave it on the planet.
That's right.
On planet Earth. So yeah, find your niche and find your call early. You know, seek God. You know, and he'll show you what he sent you down here to do. You know,
right.
and always give God the glory and the honor for it, because it rightfully belongs to Him.
Yes, well said. Well said. Well said. Well said.
And Dante, before I go off, I know you're trying to push me off.
No. Take your time.
Man, I want to say this about you, Dante.
Oh, hey, man.
You know, I told you I'm going to tell it everywhere I go. Dante just married my cousin, y'all. So me and Dante's cousins. He married one of those Booker girls, you know, and I think one of her great uncles married my aunt. Her name was Mamie Booker in Evergreen, Alabama. And that's how we're related. Wow. So, but for your work, Dante, podcasting, I salute you, brother. You know, and I thank God for how good you are at it. And you're remembering sacred steel. I see you. You know, you got other business going on, but don't forget about us, bro. Don't forget about us.
Never.
Because Dante, there's so many of these guys that, like I said, we all got a story. Yeah. You know, and a lot of us, like in myself included, we were never assembly musicians. We were never, you know, considered the greatest musicians. But I'm still a piece to the puzzle. That's you know, right. Because you know the Bible talks about one body, but it's got many members to it, you know. And I like to talk about guys like E-Man, you know, Davis, because I know what it takes to do what he's aspiring. I hope I'm one of his inspirations to have him do what he's doing, you know. And if he called, email, if you out there, if you need my assistance, I ain't the greatest, but I can give you what I have, you know. because we don't want to see him flop. We want to see him go on. You know, and to continue in his generation, the young man, you know, in his generation, he can be a light unto them as far as this music. And he's got a nice little band over there. You know, he got some twin boys playing with him. You know, I don't know if you remember Shantae Peaches. That's my goddaughter in Philadelphia. Those are her brothers.
I do.
Yeah, they're twins, and Shantae's got a set of twins herself. So yeah, man. So I've met a lot of great people on the House of God side, you know, as well. Because I didn't know much about them until Jay started traveling with Calvin Cook. Right. And when that happened, you know, Jay was actually one of the first rhythm guitar players that was allowed to cross over like that. Wow. And without a whole lot of friction. Okay. You know, and so Jay did that, and he would always bring me back tapes. Man, you got to hear this guy. You got to hear Joe Randall. You got to hear the Noble Boys. You got to hear these guys, you know. And so that kind of, he was the gateway for me. You know, and so I thank my brother-in-law for that, you know, because he's worthy of that honor in my eyesight, because Jay have helped me do a lot of things, you know, initially getting started here, you know, and so even though he's having some health challenges, I don't want to forget about my brother-in-law, you know, because he came to the Steel Show in August. I didn't know if he's going to be able to make it or not, but he came, man, and he was old Jay. He was OJ. Now I'll be posting some of that footage here pretty soon. I just got the master back yesterday. Okay, the audio master. So I'll be doing some post editing and stuff on that thing, man, and getting some of that video footage out there. Well, it's been a great run, man. You know, I want to say this. You know, we're still a 501c3 nonprofit now.
Come on.
And what that means is we depend on the benevolence of others, you know, your kindness and your donations and things to keep this thing going. And I say on occasion, just if the Sacred Steel community, if Mother Tate's churches would support this,
That's
you know,
right.
I wouldn't really have to run around looking for grants and stuff like that, you know, because it don't take much to run what I'm doing, you know, but it does take some finances to do it. That's you know, right. And so you know, I don't want to be at the mercy of other people when we got a community here that should be really supporting this, you know. And so I just want to encourage you guys, you know, we got PayPal, we got Cash App, we got all of those things. You go to our website and things.
Right
as a matter of fact, our website is up right now, but probably the beginning of August, it'll be a new website. We're having a professional guy put it together now, because Kelly and I did that, what you see now, and that's the best I could do, you know.
Right.
So, but we got with a professional guy, because the spirit of excellence is what we're looking for now, you know. And so
you're bringing it.
Well, the level that you're on, you don't want to go back. You know, you want to keep going higher and higher. Every round goes higher and higher, brother.
Come
yes,
on.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Well, man, we're excited, and I put the website at the bottom of this screen here, www.sacredstrings.com. You all patronize,
Thank you, sir.
Make your donations. They are tax deductible. They're 501c3. And I promise you, there's so much, there's so many great rewards for the things that are coming through Mr. Delray Grace and family, and all the things that he's working on, that he's continuously doing. And I'm just proud to call you my brother, man. And just keep going. Thank you, I want to just shout out to my dear sister in Detroit, Monique.
Hey,
she's going to be heading up a steel guitar, Spirit of Music ceremony that's going to be happening on, let's see here. It's going to be on the 2nd of November, 2024 at 4 p.m. This is going to be at the House of God Church at 3201 Joy Road in Detroit, Michigan. Myself and, oh my goodness, Dave Fonville, my cousin, Ivan Shaw, my dear brother Shane, and my grandmother, Ola Mae Harmon, we're all being awarded and honored on that evening. So you all meet us there in Detroit, Michigan, November 2nd, 2024 at 4 p.m. It's going to be a weekend that you won't forget. I already know.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Dale, thank you so much, man, for being here with me on today, and all the great things that you're doing, man. Keep going.
Thank you, sir.
Keep going. And for those that have tuned in on YouTube and Facebook, thank you all. You all like and share this post. And thank you all for being here with this amazing entrepreneur and musician, Delray Grace, and all the things that he's doing with the Sacred Steel Music and History Museum, and so many other hats that he's wearing. You all, let's support him. Let's get behind him. And I'm going to put that website up again. You all visit his website, www.sacredstrings.com. I don't care if it's $1, $5, $50, $500, $5,000, whatever it is that you want to contribute, put it toward this ministry, what he's doing with Sacred Steel Music, with his museum, with the Hall of Fame. It goes to a worthy cause. And again, it is a 501c3 tax deduction. So make sure you visit the website and give today. Don't wait. Do it now. Go to that website and just contribute to some degree. And I promise you, you will be blessed. Thank you all for joining us here today on Dante's Harmony Podcast. Until next time, we'll see you soon. God bless.